Hello, my friend. My name is Kiddo, and today I'm going to show you exactly how I do my eBay product research. It's otherwise known as comps, which is short for completed listings, or checking solds or solds. So the reason why this is important is so that you know how much something actually sells for and not just what it's listed at. Because at the end of the day, anybody can list any item for any price. It doesn't mean that it's going to sell at that price. So by doing this and being on top of eBay product research, it's going to make it easier to make informed decisions to buy stuff that actually sells and ultimately to be able to make more profit. So this is just how I do it. I'm not saying that this is what works as a blanket statement. I'm just saying this is how I do it personally, and this is what has worked for me. I've sold tens of thousands of items on eBay, from vacuum cleaner bags, video game consoles, men's t-shirts, women's dresses. I've sold so many different niche things that this process and using this process has worked on. So from personal experience. So let's get right into it. The three tools that we're going to be using today. ChatGPT. This is just going to help us with ideation, maybe give us some ideas of what to actually search for. Then we're going to use eBay, obviously, to run the search. I've done it with just an account that's logged out. You can also use it with an incognito window so that it's not location tracking or tracking your previous searches, so you'll get fresh results. And then the third thing is a spreadsheet just to collect the data, and we'll set that up together. So jumping right into things, I guess what we'll do is we'll start with just the spreadsheet. So here are some columns that I've got out. I may actually add a couple extra as we go on. But at the top here, we've got the search term. In the B column, we've got the total listings active. In the C column, the total listings sold. D is the sell-through rate, which we'll use the B and C columns for. E is the items sold per day. And F is the average sale price. Now, at any point in this video, if you need to stop, pause, set up, reflect, take notes, just do that. Just pause as you go. I'm probably going to be saying a lot and there's going to be a lot of information, but we're going to do this a couple times together so you'll understand the gist of how my process works when I'm doing product research. So yeah, I've got this spreadsheet set up and we're just going to gradually fill it out as I go. So starting off, I guess, for our very first search, usually, I guess you would have something in front of you that you want to check out the price of. So maybe you're in a store, maybe you're out and about. This is just how I would do it if I was from home, but my process is the exact same. So this is, I'm starting off with ChatGPT to kind of give us some ideas of what to search for. You can do this, or you can just use the item that you want to know more information about. So we'll start here. So what I'm going to do is say list 10 famous men's brands and format the titles to say brand plus shirt. So as you can see, it's given us 10 ideas. I'm going to start off with Ralph Lauren shirt because you're going to probably see a lot of these in secondhand shops, and it's good to know what the genuine ones actually sell for. So what I'm doing next is going over to eBay, in which I'm going to go search title here. I'm going to type in Ralph Lauren shirt. Now what's interesting here is before I click search, I can actually see the suggestive searches. And I've spoken about this in another video. But this is really important information because this is actually showing you what people are searching for. So whenever somebody searches for Ralph Lauren shirt, one of the most common is actually Ralph Lauren shirt women, Ralph Lauren shirt 2XL, Ralph Lauren shirt large, Ralph Lauren shirt XL. And so this is good information to know, okay, Ralph Lauren shirt 2XL might actually be slightly searched more than, say, Ralph Lauren shirt small slim. And this is good information, no matter what you're searching for, to understand what the suggestive searches are currently showing you. And this will always update. So maybe you comp or you check the solds for an item today. It might not be the same 6 months from now. So it's something worth checking is redoing these comps periodically, whether it's 3, 6, once a year. I would actually say, personally for me, I like to do them every few months just to see where the market's at on certain things. But yeah, the more that you can, stay up to date with information and also check out these suggestive searches, you're going to be better off for it. So now that we've got that search, I'm just going to click enter. We're going to search Ralph Lauren shirt. So first thing to do is to set up the filters. Because I'm in Australia, I'm going to pick Australia only. This is very key, especially if you only plan to sell in the country that you're in. So make sure you set the item location up properly. Click Australia only, And then let's say I've got a second-hand shirt. I'm not selling brand new. So I'm going to set up the condition as well, pre-owned. So those two filters are now set up. As I can see here now, at the top left, we've got 5,100 active results for a Ralph Lauren shirt that's used and in Australia. So I'm going to get this number here, and I'm going to put it over in our spreadsheet. So our search term was Ralph Lauren shirt. Our total listings active was 5,100. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is actually filter down to the bottom left, and this is where comps comes from. It just is short for completed items. So you go sold and completed. So you just click sold. That'll automatically click completed. And now we've got our filters applied for a Ralph Lauren shirt that's pre-owned in Australia and that actually sold. This is super important information because now we can get the gist of what the item is actually selling for. Because at the end of the day, anybody can list any item for any price, but it's what it sells for that matters. And this is the research that we can use for our buying decisions if we choose to do that. So here is the listing sold. So we've got 1,400. There we go. Now, it's probably worth noting as well, you don't have to do just Ralph Lauren shirt. You could do Ralph Lauren polo. You could do Ralph Lauren shirt size L. You could really go diving into the nuance of the item that you're looking for to see the exact comps. I'm keeping it general just for this starter search, just to give you the gist. And then we'll try some ones that are slightly more nuanced. So this first one, we've got 5,100 listings active, 1,400 listings sold. Now, what's interesting about this number too is this sold comps are actually for the last 90 days. So what we can do is go into our items sold per day in our spreadsheet, type enter. What we're going to do is get this 1,400 number and we're going to divide it by 90 because that's going to tell us how many items actually sold per day. And as you can see, 15 shirts sold per day. So it's quite great velocity. The sell-through rate as well is what we're going to do is look at the formula is already put it up here, but we're going to look at the listing actives and then divide it by the listing sold to kind of get the gist of, we're going to get the listings sold divided by the listings active so that we can get a percentage of, what is actually, of everything that's listed, what's actually selling when people list. And this will kind of give us a ballpark of what the sell-through rate is in the past 90 days. So what we're going to do is, once again, we're going to divide listings sold by listings active. That's going to give us 0.277. And this is key. I'm going to change it to a percentage. So as you can see, the sell-through rate is 27.45%. Now, if that meets your metrics, then, we've got a lot of items sold in the last 90 days. We've got a solid sell-through rate. What I personally aim for, what has worked for me, I'm not recommending this, but what has worked for me is I like to buy things with a sell-through rate of 20% and up, and that is what has worked for me. Ideally, if I can find something that has a sell-through rate of like 35%, 40%, 50%, and there is a lot of items sold per day, above 10, that's really good. So what what I'm looking for is a sell-through rate that's above 20%, and items sold per day. I generally want to go 5 or more, or something like that. But what you'll find is there might be rare items that don't have a lot of items sold per day, but their sell-through rate is really high. So there's different rules for rare stuff. But in the case of the Ralph Lauren shirt, as I can see, I've got the 27% sell-through rate. I've got the items sold per day. That's 15. The next thing we're going to do, and this is the reason why I do these two first rather than just the sale price, is because I think personally for me, when I was sourcing, I would buy stuff just based on price. And actually nowadays I focus a lot on the velocity of the item moving. So I want stuff that sells through quick. So even if it doesn't sell for the most money, I can move stuff quickly and then just go and get another one. So we're also going to look at average sale price here. And here there's no, I'm not guessing, but I'm averaging out based on what I can see. So if we're looking like a dress shirt specifically, we got, 35 plus posts, 39 plus posts, 24 plus posts. I'd say the average for a dress shirt is, and if I wanted to be, I always want to be conservative here. I don't want to overestimate. So, I would average the sale price of the shirt maybe at the bottom. So I'd say like 25 plus post, assuming that mine, doesn't have flaws and that sort of thing. I mean, here one sold for 10 plus post. That's not what we want. But what I'm doing is kind of disregarding the outliers sometimes. And I'm just looking for an average and a ballpark of where I think my item is. Also, if my item that I'm looking at is similar to some of these, let's say I also have this exact shirt, then I can just look at that comp and go, okay, it'll sell for around that. So looking at the average of these, I'd say it's between 25 and 35. So I might just put average sale price 28. And that would be for like a button shirt style specifically, because as you can see, there's some other ones where like that's the short sleeve version. Also these polos, they're different as well. So what you're doing is you're also comparing the style of the items that you have to maybe the ones you're comping. And if you don't actually have these items yet as well, you're just getting a ballpark of, okay, I know that, you know, a big pony like this sells for a certain price. And then, okay, a small pony button shirt, there's different rules for different items. So just being cognizant of the differences and trying to pick up on the patterns that show themselves in this search. So as you can see, I've just done my product research on the Ralph Lauren shirt. And then I guess the last column we could do is like a price I would buy it at. Price I would buy it at. I'm actually not going to give you the answer for this one because I think it really depends on where you're at, you know, whether you're on eBay Australia, whether on eBay US, etc., etc. You need to do the, run this through the fee calculator. So if I know something's going to sell at 28, like personally for me, like I would probably want to buy that for, you know, under 10. That's what I would do. I'm not recommending that to you. I'm just saying that, you know, you need to know your ballparks after you do the eBay fee calculation. So that's what can help here. So once you have that sale price, then what you want to do is run that through the eBay fee calculator with what the price is that you'd have to buy it for, whether, you know, you're in a store or something like that. But yeah, for me, I would be under 10 to buy this one. But there's different rules if, say, the Ralph Lauren shirt is a big pony, if the Ralph Lauren shirt has a cool design, if it's a floral, if it's denim, like in this case here, it might be worth a little bit more. So it's really diving into the nuance of what is each one worth. And here, as you can see, I've just done a general search for Ralph Lauren shirt. So you could go further in and go Ralph Lauren polo shirt. You could go Ralph Lauren shirt floral, Ralph Lauren shirt denim, and really dive in. So this is just a starter example. And yeah, I would also put the price I would buy it at. So what would I do? I'd probably do like 8 into 28. And that's decent. That's probably like, I don't know, 10 to 13 profit after fees. But yeah, don't take my word for it on that. This is, you know, my experience only. And you need to do your own research. Don't just take my word for it. I'm a dude on the internet. All right. This is not financial advice. What I would also like to say is, yeah, spend time in the eBay fee calculator. If you don't do it line by this and you're just buying stuff off the cuff, you're going to run into problems down the line. So I recommend check your eBay fee calculator and also do the research like this to see what the sell-through rate is. See how many items are selling per day. See what the average sale price is, because a lot of people just do the average sale price and it can work. You can make money that way. But in my experience, I like doing the sell-through rate, the items sold per day, and also having a ballpark of what I would actually buy it at. Just as a reference, because I can always work on this spreadsheet and make it better over time. And then you basically have like an encyclopedia of stuff you can buy, and you know what not to buy as well. Because everybody asks, you know, what should I buy? How do I know which ones to get? It's actually probably more beneficial to know which ones you don't buy, because you've done the research. You know, okay, nah, that one doesn't sell for this price. That one has a horrible sell-through. That one never sells. So that's super important. And understanding that, you know, some items may have no listings sold. So that's super important to know. All right, next one. Let's do another one. So let's go Tommy Hilfiger. Maybe we do something bit different. Let's go. Let's do Tommy Hilfiger shorts. Let's try that. Okay, so we're gonna go back up to the top, straight back up to here. Go Tommy Hilfiger shorts. All right. So as you can see, I'm going to filter by Australia only. I'm going to go condition used. As you can see, Tommy Hilfiger shorts. Okay, so now I'm going to take this search term over here. Okay, listings active, 4,500. I don't know what that light's doing up there. All right, and listings. Okay, so we've got 4,500 for the Tommy Hilfiger shorts. Listings sold. You know what? I might just turn that light off. Give me a second. All right, I'm back. Light flashing. Time to replace it. Okay, listings sold. So, we've got 4,500 here on a Tommy Hilfiger shorts. As you can see, it's actually pulling up some of the shirts, so you just have to be aware of that. What I might do here is go to the top left in the category, go to men, and also go to men's clothing, and also go to shorts. So this is going to really dial down. So here, now we've got more of an accurate awareness of how many shorts are actually listed in Australia that are pre-owned. So we've got 437. So what we're going to do is actually put that here. 437, 437. Then we are going to filter by sold, which once again, down the left here, click sold. And we've got 44. So as you can see, we're going to then do our sell through, which is C divided by B, or which is the listings sold divided by the listings active. That's going to give us 0.1. We're going to change it to a percentage, 10%. Items sold per day. So we're going to get this number here. We're going to divide it by 90 because the sold is showing us the last 90 days sales. As you can see, 0.4 of a short has sold. And then we're just going to eyeball the price. So some of these like 25 plus post, which is, 35 free posts. So 25 plus post, 25. The vintage one, as you can see here, went for 79. So that's important to note as well, as while you're searching, you're going to come across comps that are slightly different. So there's different rules for a modern short and also a vintage short. So pay attention to that. You're also paying attention to styles. So for example, at the moment, jorts are in fashion. So anything that's like a jort or is a slightly longer length in the leg that is denim, will actually have that appeal for being, in fashion. What else have we got here? We've got some board shorts for 50 plus post. These were vintage as well. We've got just some standard chinos that went for $5 plus post. Got some dark blues, 39. So if I had to guess, I would say like if I was just selling, a standard pair of Tommy Hilfiger shirts, I might say, 14, 15. There is comps up here for higher, but it's just being aware of where you would be at in the market. So if I was priced at 40 on a pair of these basic shorts, I might never sell them, or I might be waiting years to sell them. So it's just being aware of where you're priced at in the market. It's really important. Here are just some extra smalls. So also you're picking up on slight details like, okay, this is an extra small and the photo appears to be missing a drawstring. So I know then, I'm like, okay, well, I'm not going to buy shorts that are extra small with a drawstring and I'm getting, $11 plus post. That personally wouldn't be a buy to me. So I'm just, paying attention to little stuff like this. As you can see here, yeah, so I mean, we're looking at like 15 to $20. I would say, just to be conservative, like this 19, that's probably where I'm at. I would probably just say like $18. And I'm just eyeballing. Could be more, right? So, I mean, the items sold per day, not great. The sell-through rate is 10%, also not great, and the average sale price is 18. So for me, I don't know whether I would actually buy this. In the past, I might have bought it at $2, I might have bought it at $1, but do I want to buy this moving forward? I don't know. So I would say this may not even be worth my time at free, because the time it takes for me to photograph, list it, etc., and then have to wait, a pair of shorts only sells once every 2 days. So as you can see, 0.488. It's almost every 2 days plus a little bit. So I don't know. This may not be an item that I not buy, because sell-through rate is low. It's under 20%. Items sold per day is under 1. Average sale price is under 25. So I'm not going to buy it. And that's just personally for me. Now, in the case that if it was a vintage short, for example, if we change this to here, see how it says the vintage shorts here that went for 79, then I would buy it because it's different. So if I just type in vintage Tommy Hilfiger shorts, like so, as you can see, this is filtering by the others, it's still pulling the other ones, but as you can see, the denim ones here, that's 69 plus post, and we've also got the vintage red ones here that went for 49 plus post. So always there's different rules for vintage, worth keeping in mind. All right, I think next up what we might do is we'll do something different, which is like, let's do Hoover vacuum cleaner bag. Hoover vacuum bag. All right, next up. All right, so we got 12,000 of these. These are, let's just do this. Hoover vacuum bag. All right. So we've got 12,000 in active. What I might do is just filter by Australia again. Now these ones we want to do new. So about 1100. I'm also looking at stuff that is, so these could be generics, these could be on brand. The on brands generally will be worth more because they're official, genuine, authorized, etc., etc. But in this case, I'm basically just looking at, okay, what do we got here? I might even type in a certain model. So if there's a certain Hoover vacuum cleaner that I've got the vacuum bags for, or that I've found, I'll type in the exact model as well. So here it says Hoover vacuum bags H110, and there's only 2 listings for these. Some of these are generics and not actually official listings. But I'm looking at it, it's like $15 plus post, right? Brand new. So if I just go back to this, and let's just do this. Keep it general. So there's that 12,000 results. So we'll go like this. That's good. All right, and then what I'm going to do is actually filter by sold. So for this one, we're not actually doing used. We're keeping it in brand new because we want to do some more research. We'll go item location as well. Yeah, let's just check that we did the other search in Australia. Hoover vacuum cleaner bags. Item location, Australia only. Okay, yep, let's correct that. Okay, so we've got about 1,000. 1,000 in Australia. Yeah, and this is why it's important. Just always make sure you filter by the country you're in, because like I don't like to rely purely on international listings. It's better to, in my experience, I just focus on my domestic market because that's where I ship, which is within Australia. So I got 1,000 active here. Next thing I'm going to do is go to the solds. And I've actually got 288. So the sell-through on this is actually not bad. So 288. All right, now we're going to do our sell-through again. So we're going to get the listings sold divided by the listings active. And then we can convert that into a percentage. And as you can see, 28%. So that's really quite cool. All right, now we're going to do items sold per day. So we get this listings sold here. And then we divide it by 90. 3.2 per day. Oh, so it's actually not bad. Now, average sale price here, what are we looking at? It's probably looking like 20, 10 plus post. Some of these are generics, which you work on different ones. What's interesting is these Unifit ones, I've actually sold a bunch of these, and this is why I know about vacuum cleaner bags. These Unifit ones, I've done really well on because I've been buying them for like $1 or $2, and I've been able to sell them through. So these Unifit ones are for multiple vacuum cleaners. And let's say I have an old vacuum cleaner. It's hard to get those vacuum bags without getting them generic. And so people will go on eBay and try and find them. And so these Unifit ones, they've sold well for me in the past. So let's say I got those for $1 and they sell for, 18 plus 10 post. I'm doing all right. So a lot of these are selling for, 20 plus post, 25 plus post. Let's just say 20. We'll go 20. So personally, a price that I would personally buy it out. I'm not saying for you, but a price that I would buy them at is probably like $2. I know that the sell-through rate is actually slightly better from this research. It's not a blanket response or something that's gonna be relevant forever. But from this research I've just done here, the Hoover vacuum bags have a better sell-through rate than the Ralph Lauren shirt does. So very interesting information. So even though it doesn't have as many items sold per day, 15 versus 3, if I can get this item at, at a good enough price where it's like, 20 plus post, something like that, because a lot of these selling, 35, so that's, 25 plus post. What else have we got here? See, look, these Unifit ones, these Hoover Workman ones, this is probably rarer and has more bags, but that's 89. So that's a rare vacuum cleaner bag or rare vacuum cleaner. And those Unifit ones have gone for more. There's another Unifit, 35 plus post. So yeah, really, really solid. And then, so now I have the research. I understand, okay, here's a $20 thing. And even though it's a lower sell price, if I can get it cheap enough and ultimately the sell-through rate is good, then I personally would buy it. So once again, just iterating. This is how I do my product research. This is what I would do. Don't just take my blanket advice. The one advice I want you to take is to do your own research. And this is exactly how I do my own research. All right, so let's try something different. Let's go to let's go here. Generate 10 items I could search for on eBay. Oh, I didn't really type that properly, but anyway. Okay, yeah, this is good. All right, so let's do like vintage Levi's 501 jeans. This is interesting. Let's go up here. Now, obviously, with each search, you can go slightly more specific. Like, for example, it's giving me vintage it's giving me vintage Levi jeans 501s. And I could also do like size. Maybe I'll do like 38. Here we go. So let's go. Item location. Boom. We'll go condition, used. Okay, so now we've got 31 results for vintage Levi's 501 jeans 38. Now the reason why I didn't put size in there is because I wanted to, sometimes people don't put size in their titles. So as you can see here, somebody put size here, somebody didn't put size here. Another one here, sometimes people just do W and then they put the waist size, but they don't actually use the word size or they don't type SZ. So see, for example, this person put Levi's jeans men's 501 vintage 38. They didn't even use the word size. So that's why I don't use the word size in my comp titles. That's a little gem for you, because sometimes it'll filter out stuff that doesn't include the word size. I think, in my experience, it's better to keep your search term a little bit more broad, and then it will pull in, something like this one here where they don't mention the word size. So vintage Levi 501 jeans, we've got 31 here. Listings active. Then we're going to listings sold. And I got 10 here. So then we're going to do the sell-through rate, which is dividing the listings sold by the listings active. And we change that to a percentage. And look, as you can see, that's 32%. So there's 32% sell-through, which is a higher sell-through than the Ralph Lauren shirt, higher sell-through than the vacuum bags. Now the items sold per day is going to be slightly less. So look, we've got this listing sold as 10. We're going to divide that by 90. So we're getting the listing sold divided by 90, because that is our time period on the comp search. 90 days. That's why we're using the number 90, because that is what this is showing us, the results for the last 90 days. Just in case I didn't explain that. Okay, items sold per day divided by 90. And so as you can see, like 0.1 of a jean sells every day. So what's that? Every 10 days, a pair of jeans sells, essentially. So not a great items sold per day amount, but given the fact that the sell-through is high, and then we're also going to check, the ASP as well, the average sale price. So we got 50 here, we got 30, 40, we got 30 plus 5. So we got 84 here as well, 50, 59. So look, let's be super conservative. Let's do, this is $44.90. Let's do $40. So I know that, I can buy this probably for like, I don't know, 15. Up to 15, somewhere around there. And this is being super conservative. Obviously, these prices that you would buy it at would be different for you, so don't just blanket and copy me. You need to work out what works for you, and also do comps, because chances are that by the time you see this video, some of these numbers would have changed anyway. But the idea is that we are constantly researching, constantly updating our information as the market changes as well. So, here, even though the items sold per day is lower than the others, the sell-through rate is actually higher and the ASP is higher. And so, as I said when it comes to vintage items, the rules are different, because there may not be as many listings, there may not be as many solds, but you could be sitting on a really rare item. So let's try out something a bit more niche, which is vintage Nirvana shirt. All right, so hang on, let's uncheck. Let's start this again from the start. All right, so let's go vintage Nirvana shirt. So we're going to go item location, Australia only. Used. We've got 65. Now, the important thing to note when it comes to vintage shirts is actually some shirts are listed as vintage but aren't actually vintage. Some are just bootlegs, some are just modern recreated copies. So it's just worth checking what it actually is. For example, this one here, they've listed it as a vintage inspired shirt. So it's more modern. And some of these smiley face shirts are just mass printed. So we've got 65 results here in the active for vintage Nirvana shirt. Let's just put this here. We'll go 65. Listing sold. All right, so now we're going to filter by listings sold. We've only got 7 here. Only got 7. So if we look at our sell-through, what we're going to do is get the listings sold divided by the listings active. So we've got a 10% sell-through on vintage Nirvana shirts. And 7 sold in the last 90 days. So 7 divided by 90. 0.07 sell every day. And an average sale price. Now this is where things start to get interesting. Because when it comes to vintage Nirvana shirts, they are very rare. So sometimes when you come across an older shirt or an older item, there's not going to be a lot of comps, because a lot of them, sometimes they don't even sell on eBay, or when they do sell on eBay, they go crazy on an auction. So for example, this Aussie t-shirt's original 1991, this one sold for $450. As you can see, it's only got 2 photos and it's got stains and marks. So this is an original. And this makes things interesting, especially because it's got that old tag. Check out the neckline. Check out this stitching on the way that it's been set up. Let's open this up. Let's have a look. So as you can see here, you know, the stitching of the way the tag is in, and basically looking at it, I can tell that that's probably a paper tag, and the neckline is different as well, as long with, yeah, it looks to be single stitch. So that's an original. This is going to be niche information that you pick up over time, but vintage Nirvana shirts can go for lots of money. There's one that's not pictured here, which is a heart-shaped box, which is, you know, multiple thousands at the time of this recording, but it's not here. Here is like a sliver. Here's like it's interesting. Somebody has listed this item. It's not a Nirvana shirt, but it's a Joy Division Ian Curtis, so they're just keyword spamming it. So that's been pulled up. Here is not a Nirvana shirt, but it's a Mudhoney. So you know, it's that grunge category. So a lot of that old 90s vintage grunge is worth good money. What else we got here? Another Mudhoney. If you're unsure when it comes to an item and you think it may be rare, I suggest, you know, doing more research before you try to sell it, because a lot of these old rare shirts can get sold for way under market. And if you do your research properly, you'll be able to sell it for the price that is relative to the demand, and not, you know, undersell an item. So, yeah, so there's a Nirvana shirt. So, I mean, the average sale price on Nirvana, these go all over the shop. They're super rare, right? But we just saw one for $400. I would actually put this in a range of, like, from my knowledge personally, average range, like $400 to like $5,000. I think I saw one recently sell on auction for over $10,000. So yeah, with the vintage Nirvana shirts, you just want to be careful. If you ever find one of those, don't undersell it. So a price I would buy it at, I mean, depends what it is. If it's a $5,000 shirt, I might buy that at, you know, $3,000. So that is just, you know, variable. We'll just put that there. Depends what it is. So what we might do is we might do 2 more. What I might do is, like, let's do a console. Let's do like a gaming console. All right. Let's go Xbox, original Xbox console. Let's do that. Okay. So, item location, Australia only. Once again, condition, used. Okay, so we've got 127 for original Xbox console. What was it? 127. And then what we're going to do is go scroll down and go filter by sold, completed items. 212 results. Jeez, all right. That's not bad. Okay, so as you can see here, this is something that's, you know, really key to recognize. The more you do these comps, by the way, the easier it gets, and the more information you're going to have in your mind for when you go sourcing, because you're going to, I wouldn't say you're going to memorize everything, but you're going to have a reference point where, like, okay, if I know an Xbox original sells for this, maybe I'm a bit curious. What does a PS2 sell for? What does a PlayStation 1 sell for? What does a GameCube sell for? So once you pick up one item and you understand it, then you start, you know, accumulating adjacent knowledge, and that is really key. Adjacent knowledge is a game changer. So as you can see here, the sell-through rate, we've got more listings sold than listings are active. This is a really good sign. So what we've done is we've got the listings sold divided by listings active. I'm just going to click enter. Just convert that to a percentage. So the sell-through rate on an original Xbox console, 166%. Absolutely killer. Now we've got listings sold, so we're going to get that and divide it by 90. We've got 2 selling per day, which is decent. It's above our, it's not a point 1 or a 0.7 or a 0.4. It's two are selling every day. Then we're also going to look at the average sale price. So obviously there's a couple different rules with these as well. Sometimes stuff is for parts, sometimes stuff is modified, sometimes stuff hasn't been tested at all. So just we also want to look at whether the consoles come with controllers, whether they come with cords, games, etc. This one, for example, is a faulty unit, but they're selling it with these, and it's still sold for 110. That's another key thing to understand, is that you can also sell things that aren't working because people will buy them and fix them, and people will also have a broken console, but they might take a working part from your console and then fix their own, that sort of thing. And also something interesting with these original consoles is when people modify them and start loading them with stuff and do their own thing. So another thing worth noting as well is, while I've been searching for these consoles, I've found some more interesting information, which is people are selling the replacement power supplies for $30 plus post. Somebody here is also selling a remote for $20. So while I'm doing these comps, I might be searching for one thing, but I might be learning something else as I go. As well, here I'm seeing some Xbox 360s as well. So I'm picking up more adjacent information the more research I'm doing. So if I had to guess like an average sale price, I guess, see this one here, this is a modified one, which is why it goes for more. This is like an original. So I'd probably say like $100 plus post if I had to guess. And if you can see here, this is like a rarer crystal variant, and they've got the box as well. So this one is pre-owned, but it's got all the original inserts and that. So somebody that wants to buy, a complete set will probably pay more. And yeah, as you can see here, this is the crystal pre-owned. And then here are just like, the standard ones. So if I had to guess on an original, probably $100 plus post, 100 plus post. And then if it is a crystal version, then it's more. If it's got the box, it's more. If it's got controllers and games, it's more. So it's also thinking in terms of bundles. This one, for example, this one comes with 5 controllers and 25 games. So this bundle is worth significantly more, just because it's got a whole bunch more stuff with it. It's not just the console. So it's also keeping in mind that, like, if I were to buy this, I would make sure, okay, I need the cords. If I don't have the cords, then I know it probably won't sell for as much. But also, it won't stop me from buying it either. If I know something works, I might buy a replacement part. Might buy another controller. I might even create a bundle, for example. If I'm constantly buying, these console bundles, I might have games from here that I can take and create my own lots. So there's a lot of value there in, buying individual pieces and then lotting them up, or in saying that, buying a lot and then separating it. So there's a lot of things you can do. Original Xbox console, I might buy this at like $50, depending what it comes with. If it comes with, a rare game, I might pay more for it as well. So as you can see here, actually, I just want to say something on that as well. So this lot, if you see in this photo, so it comes 5 controllers, 25 games, but what they've done here is they've X'd out one of the games, and the game is actually Simpsons Hit and Run on Xbox. So what we might do is, let's do that next. So Simpsons Hit and Run Xbox. So as you can see here, we'll filter by Australia only. Use condition. I might just do like any condition. That's fine. All right. So Simpsons Hit and Run Xbox for the original. Listings active. What do we got? We got 48 listings active. Listings sold. Filter by sold. We got 61. Nice. So get that listing sold. Divide it by the listings active. I'm just going to click enter because my spreadsheet now knows what I'm doing. All right, 127% sell through. Cracker. Very good. Very, very good. All right, now we've got items sold per day. So we'll get that 61 divided by 90. My spreadsheet already knows what I'm doing now. But what I'm doing is getting the listing sold, dividing it by 90. So we've got 0.67. So it's under that one, so it's not perfect. But if I look at the ASP here, so now we've got, this is an old game and it's pre-owned and it's still selling quite strong. So, you got $30 plus post, you got $50 plus post. Other things to, keep note of is whether they're coming with the manuals, with the games, whether it's just the game and the case, whether it's just the disc. Sometimes it's just the disc. For example, this disc only still sold for $20 plus post. So this is obviously someone that just wants to play the game. 23, and these other ones have got the complete. So this one is got the format, it's got the manual, and it's got the game as well. So $40 plus post. That's pretty consistent. So I don't know. I might do like 35. Probably 35. So if I'm buying this for under 10, then I'd say it's a good buy. But as you can see here, we've got the information of a really good sell-through rate, 127%. We got the listings sold being more than the listings active. Look, if there's more solds than actives, that's a good sign. So what do we got here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I mean, look, we've done 7 comps now. So what I might do is I'll just run through my criteria with you, and this is probably going to be the most valuable part of the video. This is my criteria, Kiddo's criteria. Okay, so one thing is I want a good average sale price, right? So if I was doing volume, and I was doing like 10 cents into $5, that might be good, but I need to sell heaps of them. If I'm doing, $5 into $30, then I don't need to sell as many, and that's good. So good average sale price. You need to define what that is for you. For me, I like a sale price of 25 plus. And then when it's 25 plus, I like to buy it. I like to buy at 5 and under. I like to buy at 5 and under. And then, if it's a 50 or whatever, you just use your eBay fee calculator to work out what price you want to buy it at. But generally, I'll go like, personally, what works for me is 20%. I like to buy at least 20% under. Then I have healthy margin, especially on, something that's under 25. If it was like a Nirvana shirt, obviously rules are completely different. I'd pay hundreds. I'd pay thousands of dollars for a vintage Nirvana shirt, depending on what it was. And obviously, it just depends. So Kiddo's criteria, good average sale price, $25. I like to buy it to 55 and under. I'm aiming for like, 20% or less. Also, if I'm buying in bulk, I want to pay less than 20%. I'll just say that clear. Like if I'm buying hundreds of items, I'm not paying 20% for each item. I want it at a better price. Next thing is the sell-through rate. So I want a sell-through rate above 20%. If you really want to crush, you probably would have aimed for above 25%, maybe 25%. I prefer above 25% nowadays, especially. Ultimately, if you can get into the gaming consoles, which is what I used to do, is 166% sell through. Like that's really solid. Simpsons Hit and Run on Xbox, 127%, crazy sell through. But above 25% and above 100% is great. Actually, you know what? I'm going to say above 50% is great, to be honest. Above 100% is great. Is awesome. Is great. Is awesome. Yeah, that's good. So, next is the items sold per day. Look, I want to definitely get above 2. Depending what it is. The most important thing I would say out of the 3 metrics is it's got to be a combination. It's kind of like a triangle, right? You want a good average sale price, a good sell-through rate, and good amount of items sold per day. But if you just have a good average sale price and a good sell-through rate, and it's a rare item with a high average sale price, then you don't need lots of items sold per day, right? Because if it's a rare item, the rules are different. In saying that, you may come across items that don't exist on eBay or don't comp out on eBay. So once again, different rules there. But for our standard searches, whether it's a Ralph Lauren shirt, Tommy Hilfiger shorts, these are the metrics that I'm following. If it's something more rare, like a vintage Nirvana shirt, then once again, the rules are different. Apologies if I keep repeating myself, but it's just really important to understand when it comes to product research, nuance is very important. So Simpsons Hit and Run Xbox, I could say, yep, that's a buy. But I need to understand first, for me, okay, does it have the manual? Is it just the disc? Is the disc scratched? When I buy an Xbox console, is the console working? Does the console come with parts? Is it just for parts or is it working? Does it come with a manual? Does it come with the box and the original manuals? Does it come with controllers and games? Because ultimately, if I could buy a console that's maybe not working, but it comes with 20 rare games, and one of them Simpsons Hit and Run Xbox, then obviously I might, make a different decision. So when it comes to product research, the biggest thing is going to be adjacent knowledge, which is very important. So while I'm searching for an original Xbox, I might pick up that, okay, there is a crystal Xbox as well, that is worth more than the standard black one. If I pick up, Hoover vacuum bags, if I know that the Unifit for this very specific model is very rare, then I might list it higher because that, there's not many of those vacuum cleaners around, and the person who buys it needs that vacuum cleaner. And so it's just understanding, okay, there's certain items that are rarer than others. There are certain items that have more demand than others. So when it comes to items sold per day, I'd say, to be safe, I'd say 5+. Maybe let's do 3+, because that's what our vacuum cleaner bags were at when we comped them. So items sold per day, 3+. And rules are different for vintage. For vintage or rare items. So once again, criteria 25+. I want to buy it at 20% or less of what it would sell through. Sell through rate, I want it above 25%. Above 50% is great. Above 100% is awesome. Items sold per day, I want 3+. And obviously the rules are different for vintage and rare items. Look, if there's any questions that you have, I think I might wrap it up here. If there's any questions that you have, please drop them below. I know I didn't do any women's clothing. You know what? Let's do women's dress. Let's give that a whirl. All right. So we're going to start with let's do Zimmerman dress. Now, once again, if you're short for ideas, you don't know what to comp, go on ChatGPT and have it list like 20 brands for you, and then just go manually and go one by one by one. Now, a lot of this potentially could be automated. You could design software to do this for you, but I don't think there's any substitute for you understanding visually and doing this manually in your head, because then you're going to understand and you're going to build that knowledge for yourself, and there's just no program or software that can really do that for you. It might give you the information, but it's not going to help you learn as intensively, as quickly as you can just by sitting here and actually looking for yourself. Because that's going to be, the best thing you can do. Just look for yourself and accumulate that knowledge for yourself. Because then, on the day you don't have your phone, the day you don't have your computer, the day you're on the fly and you're looking for stuff, you can just do it straight off the cuff. And you don't have to think about it. So we got Zimmerman dress. Let's go item location, Australia only. Let's go condition, pre-owned. All right. So we got 4,100 Zimmerman dress. All right. Let's go. Let's put this in here. 4,100. Okay, now let's go listings sold. Let's go down here. 1,000. Okay, 1,000. So we've got a sell-through rate about 24%. Items sold per day. As you can see, 11 are selling per day. So we know now, in comparison to everything else, it's up there with a Ralph Lauren shirt. A lot of Zimmerman sell every day. Now we're also going to look at average sale price. Now, the biggest thing with women's clothing, and this is something I've learned the hard way, is the amount of nuance, the amount of understanding. You need to understand trends. You need to understand styles. You need to understand, the type of dress it is. It could be, a short silk. It could be a mini. It could be a fit and flare. Women's clothing is it takes the most skill to sell because there is just so much variation. And so when you're, comping, women's clothing specifically, you just need to be aware of that, certain styles sell for more. And as you comp, pay attention to your florals, pay attention to, linens, pay attention to midi, pay attention to silk, all those sorts of things. So as I'm looking here, there's a lot of variation in these prices. We got ones going for $200. We got ones going for $500, $170. Got another one here only sold for $25 plus post, but that was on an auction as well. And that's also probably worth noting as well, is while you're looking at comps, look at how it sold. Did it sell for a best offer? Did it sell for buy it now? Did it sell for auction with one bid, as you can see here? Because a lot of the times, sometimes you will get more on auction with certain items, and sometimes you'll get more from just putting it as a buy it now. So just being aware of that, very important as well. All right, Zimmerman 130, 390, 160, 270. Look, I think in this case, it would really depend what type of Zimmerman dress you actually have. But from the averages of what I'm seeing, like I'm seeing 189. It would also depend on condition too, because dresses is different in terms of condition. If it's too worn, instantly loses value. Um, and it obviously varies brand to brand, but as you can see 60, 80. So I'm looking at like $100. It really depends though, because women's clothing, fashion, style, etc., etc. But for Zimmerman dresses, I'm looking and I'm thinking, okay, that's probably a decent pickup, at least for me. I could probably buy that for $20, probably more, depends. But that's just me. So as you can see there, we've done 8 comps together. You'll be able to move faster. I'll be able to move faster when I don't have to walk through it as I'm going and explaining it. But what I like to do is to really just keep this spreadsheet, handy, and so that I can look at it every now and then. And then every now and then I'll also update it. I'll look at different things. I'll look at different categories. And you can do this with pre-owned items. You can do this with brand new items. I mean, today we did vacuum cleaner bags. Today we did old consoles. We did old shirts, modern shirts. But this is the way that I do product research. And I think that the more effort that you put in at this stage, before you even spend $1, because this is really the opportunity that eBay has, is that it gives you a marketplace and gives you the information that you can go like, okay, before I even spend anything, I know what something sells for, and I know likely, when it's going to sell. And so if you can first and foremost in business be a forecaster, you will find that you'll have an instant advantage over everybody else. So look, thank you very much for watching. If you have any questions, please leave them below. I hope I covered enough, but yeah, any questions you have, leave them below. If you made it this far, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. And I will see you on the next one. Thank you.